Hi there, and thank you for joining us on the Overcomers Overcoming podcast. We feature those who are in the process of overcoming or have overcome any type of life encounter, life obstacle that at the time seemed to be almost insurmountable. With this podcast, we have three objectives in mind. Our first objective is we want you to know with a confident resolve you are not alone. We want to work with you. We want you to know there are others who are working with you, who want to help you through whatever you are encountering, and together we will get through whatever you're experiencing.
Our second objective is there are multiple options for any life encounter you are facing. We want to help you develop a resolve that there are various options and solutions to any life dilemma.
Our third objective is to help you with critical thinking skills. If you're encountering something that was possibly a decision you made sometime in the past, and if you had the opportunity for a life redo, you would make a different decision. We want to help you with those critical thinking skills that can help you make an informed decision and not encounter what you're going through at the moment. We are the Cooper Culture, a veteran-owned business. We work with business personnel and families to develop and sustain connected relationship cultures within their families and organizations. That type organization is one where people feel wanted, appreciated, and genuinely a part of that organization. I'm with my wife and business partner, Marty, who has helped me facilitate this podcast. Today we feature Kirtti Sharrma, who discusses her married life of being married to the wrong person. The person she describes is a narcissist, and she's describing the challenges she had with this person, the fact that she married a person that she did not want to marry. What we learned from her testimony is that too often people who don't want to align with people they dislike end up doing that, and there's a bit of psychology that goes with that. She describes what it is that she had to go through to restart her life. Marty, what are some takeaways our listeners can gain from Kirtti's life testimony?
We realized through her testimony that it is hard to be married to a narcissist and yet still try and keep it together. And we see where she tried and then she just decided, this is it. I've got to get out of this situation. To her credit, she said, I don't want to be in that situation again, so I'm not looking for anybody.
So it's a great opportunity to learn maybe how to avoid aligning yourself with a narcissist. Let's listen and learn together. Kirtti, it is great to have you with us. You are talking to us from India, and we are recording from Maryland, and we're very grateful for technology that we are able to connect. You overcame an abusive marriage or relationship, and Kirtti, we're very grateful for that. Can you tell our listeners just a little bit about that? Because it is possible we have some listeners who are going through an abusive marriage, and there could be various definition of what abusive is, but maybe yours was emotional and or physical, but more so, how did you overcome? Kirtti, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. And yes, right now I'm smiling, but earlier it was time when I used to feel like, what is going on? What is going on with me? Because usually I had been living with a person whom I married and whom I loved earlier, right? But actually, I felt it was love. For him, it was different. For him, it was like you have to get married after a certain age or something. But later on, when I was living with him, I felt like there was no love. It was like we have to get married and we have to live together. That's all. I have to keep all things within me, what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to learn or anything. I had to keep it to myself because there was a total no. I lived in that life and I thought it is normal because we are taught that after marriage you have to live with the person and you have to bend like them and agree to everything. Later on, things started changing, and I felt that I was in deep depression because there were things started happening like he was too possessive towards me, and I can't go out without him. And even when I used to go out with him, he was like, you have to look only to me. You can't look here or there. And there was a blunder outside home, and I was worried about my son. He was at that time 6 or 7 years of age, and I was worried that what will he become or what will he absorb. So things started changing slowly. It got really worse, where I was in helplessness situation where I wanted to finish my life and my son's life because I can't leave my son behind me thinking that these people can take care of him better. At that moment, no one in my family knew. My father died in 2012, so I felt like I have to do it all alone. My father died, there was no brother, no male figure who can fight for me. And as women are told to be looking for a male figure, I was like, what is going to happen? And things started changing. I rely on God, I rely on universe that you have to do something. I can't do it. I'm done. Either take me and my son with you, or whatever you choose, you have to do it. So things started changing, and one of my friends connected to me who was local, and I told her everything. Then she called my mom that take her away or you won't find her. She will die. She is in such a critical situation. So my mother took me and my son out thinking that after few days or few weeks, it will be all okay. It didn't happen. Nothing was okay because that man said he tried to throttle my neck in front of our son, and he said, it was gone. It happened. I'm sorry. It is gone. But his attitude didn't change. He didn't accept it that he did something wrong. So things were like that. And before that, it was mentally abusive, physically abusive, and verbally abusive as well. Because I had to do everything he wanted. Otherwise, he will beat me. And of course, he tried to throttle me in front of my son only once, but yes, he hit me many times. So it was like universe took me out through my mother out of that situation, and that is how I came out of it. And I hooked myself to universe, to God, that only you can help me out, and you will send someone. Being a Reiki healer already since 2004 and 6, um, I had been healing myself. So this is how I came out of it and started working on myself, healing only myself.
You seem to be describing what is known sometimes as a narcissist. You were married, you seem to be saying you were
Yeah.
married to a narcissist, a person who wants to manipulate you, a person who wants to totally control you. Is that the kind of person to whom you were married?
Yes. Actually, until I got into psychology, I came to know these terms that he was a narcissist. Yes, he was just like that. And on much deeper level, he is going onto the wrong path because I tried to convince him to go to a psychologist and work as a couple on our marriage. But he used to say there's nothing wrong. So yes, he was just like that, being grandeur and everything too.
Is it part of the Indian culture that your mom and dad approved or otherwise arranged your marriage to this person?
Actually, it was a love marriage, so I was the one who did it. I can't, I can't blame anyone. And it was like I was a girl who never had been into relationships out of my family and cousins and friends. So after a few times or few months, I felt that this is love. This could be the love, and I convinced my parents.
I am not a psychologist at all, but I have spoken with some people who say that I didn't even want a person like this, but yet you ended up attracting those kind of people and you became what you did not want to be. Am I making any sense at all?
Yes, it happens. And it was true for me. After 1 month or 2 months of marriage, I realized that I made the biggest mistake. And something in me was wanting that. So I attracted that. I believe in this.
Now, it was through your faith in God, and was it also through some friends that you became aware that this is what is happening, and maybe God and other people said, Kirti, you can live a better life from this. If he doesn't change, you need to get away from him, as if something like that?
Actually, it was all in my mind. So I became aware that this is not what I wanted. This is taking me deep down into negativity or mud or pain. So my inner self kept shouting out loud that you need to come out of it. You need to come out of it. And so maybe I made myself aware that I need to shout out for someone to help me out. And the only one was left is God.
In hindsight, how long did it take you to realize uh, and make the change that I, at this moment, need to change and make a better life? How long did it take you to where you right now seem to be very well adjusted?
Yes, it took me. I mean, in that marriage, I lived with him for 11 years. And after 2 months, I realized that something is wrong. This person is not what I wanted on a higher level. But it took me almost 3, 4 years to thinking about myself and my son that I need to come out of it anyhow. And how, I don't know.
All right, so you seem to be saying 2 months or so into the marriage, you realize this is not right. And then did you feel, I mean, did you, after 2 or 3 years, did you have the marriage absolved and you were on a better track at that point, or did it take longer?
I lived with him. I was married for 11 years. And actually, the past or the uh, religion, what should I say? The basis is that when you get married, you have to live with that person. And divorce is something still looked at negative in a negative way. So I felt in myself that I shouldn't leave him because I get married, I have to die here. So that is why I keep pulling that pain forever for 11 years. And after 11 years, that happened where my mom had to take me out, but I decided that I'm not going to go back.
Is it not acceptable in the Indian culture to divorce? Is it something like that? And you felt that somehow, some way, I need to make things right?
Yes, it is like nowadays it is changing. There are so many divorces happening, but yes, it is the basis that once you get married, you have to be with that person forever. You are connected forever.
Now, was there a point in your life as you look back that you, in hindsight, did not have a good or healthy self image and you were, let's just say, vulnerable to that? And if yes to that, how long do you feel it took you to have a healthier outlook on yourself?
Throughout my life, I never felt like I am something. I felt like I was chubby, so I need to get slim to look beautiful, to be attracted, and everything. Throughout my life, I had issues with self-image, and maybe that was the reason that I just said yes when he said, "Okay, let's get married" or whatever. Maybe that I feel right now that that was the basis. That if at this moment, if I am strong from within, I love myself to hell and heaven both. So now no one can do that. But yes, at that time I was young, no one told me about all these things. These things are not taught in schools, which is necessary, I believe. So self image was something that maybe the reason out of it. And the thing is that although I was a healer since 2004 and in 2006 I became grandmaster in Reiki, but I was developing and working on myself, so I wasn't still strong. In 2012, when my father died, I went deep into spirituality. That is when I started loving myself, and self love helped me to realize that I'm doing something wrong to myself. So it took me many years. At the age of 28, I think I got that realization.
I am think I hear you say you may have gone through 15 or more years of not thinking well of yourself, that you acknowledged that you were chubby and you were hoping to be accepted by some number of people. Right now, you have a very radiant, happy smile. You're very
Yes.
attractive, and it seems you have totally overcome what was a bad past, but it took you maybe 12, 15 years to develop a radiant smile. Would I be processing what you're saying correctly?
Yes. It took me 20 years. Yeah, almost. To but because of working on myself and understanding myself. Yes.
I want to ask you, you worked on yourself, you got yourself believing in yourself, knowing who God created you special. So how did you approach him and say, it's over, I'm uh, I'm going to divorce you, or whatever it was, and how did he take it? And is divorce in India like in America? You just go to
I
the
would,
judge
yeah.
and it happens?
Yes, when I came out of that place, my mom thought that after a few weeks I might go back because I will feel relaxed and okay. But when I came here to my mom's place, I said, no, I'm not going to go back. No matter what happened, I'm not going to go back. He came to apologize many times and he said, what I did to you, you can do that to me. But that isn't fair. You need to understand what you did wrong, where you were wrong. He didn't understand that. And till now, it's been 7 or 8 years since I came here. After few, I tried to get the divorce mutually so that we don't have to fight and everything, and we don't have to drag my son into that thing because sometimes children have to go to courts as well. But yes, after few years, 3 or 4 years, his uncle asked me, what do you want? I said, I don't want to be with him. I don't want to be have his last name with my name. So I need to get out of his way and I want him to go out of my life. So that is how he took us to an advocate and we worked out into a mutual divorce.
I want to ask you to pretend you're speaking with a person who's listening to this podcast right now, and this person may be saying something to the effect, Kirti, you're describing my relationship with my husband or wife. This person is trying to control me. I just don't feel good about myself. But how do you recommend that person confront the other person? It's almost, and here I'm going to use my own terms and ask you if this is correct. Let's take a life time out. We need to discuss our marriage, our relationship, and so forth. How, for the person who is in a relationship like this, how would you recommend they even get started to make things right?
I would say that first assess where things are going bad. Sometimes at this moment, after working only on myself, I realized that I was wrong as well. He was wrong. So both people are wrong and are right for their own self. So assess where you are wrong and where that person is wrong. Try to talk to them, talk to your partner or spouse about what is not correct in this marriage. And when you feel that the person is not ready to work on themselves or this marriage, because both have to work on that marriage. If they don't want to work on that, go ask them and suggest them to go to a counselor, marriage counselor, if that can help. Sometimes it doesn't help. Usually I have a few people and I ask them to go to a marriage counselor and things happen to change for them. And finally they are with each other. So I'm happy about them. I suggest go to a counselor who understands, who has experience, and try to get back together. If you can't, then you have to decide it. You have to tell them that we can't work together, and it is something, marriage is something that is sacred, according to me, that needs to work together. You can't do it, I'm doing it, you can relax. It's not like that. So you have to work together, and if it doesn't happen, move out of it.
Have you remarried, or do you consider yourself done with marriage?
It's a tricky question for me because a few years ago, I went into another relationship. It was distant relationship. So I was like, what am I doing? I'm making the same mistake. What is happening? Even though I am far better than earlier, still I'm making that mistake. But universe has its own way to take you out when you're doing wrong. So it ended and I cried, of course. Why in my life I have to live alone? I used to look at my son and I used to cry that why at that young age he has to live without father. But things happen and I connected to God, Shiv and Shakti more. I started connecting and balancing my inner masculine and feminine, and now I feel like I don't need anyone. I'm complete. I'm perfect. I can live all alone. I enjoy being alone.
Did you have to live through other people looking down at you or this kind of a thing?
I felt that it might happen when I came to my mother's place because we live in apartments, right? So many people, and we have been living right now 27 years in the same apartment buildings, right? So everyone knows us. But the biggest thing is, it was my inner fear. People around me helped me to come out of it because I was like, I have to stay inside. I did something wrong. I have to stay inside. But people took me out of it. Our neighbors and everyone helped me to find joy, and coming out of it was good. They understood it. So it is, I'm thankful to God that people around me are better than what I thought.
I
Otherwise,
think
people are like that. Yes.
I think what you said is very, very important. that we depend on God. But then a part of that is God lead me to godly people who can be very friendly with and help me with this and not look down on me, but you need to find the right people. Am I processing the part of the life you went through, Kirti?
Kind of, yes. Um, at this moment, I see all my hurdles like they were a lesson for me, and they helped me to outgrow of that timid little girl who was like, what is happening? I have to be like that. And being a mom, a single mom who is ready to fight anyone who try to do anything wrong. So yes, my it may be.
So you described yourself as being a timid little girl. That's back several years ago. I'm guessing you do not impress me at all as being timid and shy right now. You seem to be a very vibrant person. Again, in hindsight, was this like a 20, 25-year process to get to this point?
Yes, it is almost 20 or so years working on yourself, on myself, sorry, on myself to be this bold, be a person who do everything on her own.
Wow. Kirti, you have a great life now, and wow, it's just great to know that everything is working fine now. But I want to encourage our listeners, as it was with you, you may have to go through a long period of time to grow out of and become better than what you perceive yourself to be. God created us to be we're very worthy people, but it sounds as if there was a period of your life where you weren't sure what you were worthy of, if you had any worth at all. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate. Some people prey on people who are vulnerable like that. It seems as if they want to make you feel even worse. Kirti, on behalf of our listeners, thank you for the very vibrant life you are now leading. Thank you for sharing, and you have helped other people who are going through something similar as you have been through. You have a great life, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, both of you, for inviting me to this.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We appreciate having the opportunity to share our and our guests' life experiences with you.
The Cooper Culture advances organizations to achieve and sustain high retention rates, connected communication, and trust through personality insights and principled leadership. You can contact us at our website, thecooperculture.com, and you can contact us directly at ron@thecooperculture.com or Marty, Marty, at thecooperculture.com. We work with you to help assess aspects of your culture to advance the environment and people to their best performance. We do that through our staff of certified personal performance coaches, leadership trainers, keynote speakers, and DISC personality behavior experts. You can book a speaking engagement directly through our website by contacting us at ron@thecooperculture.com. We look forward to sharing our life experiences with you, some of which are profound, some of which are pretty funny. Some of those life experiences are ones we'll never do that again because we've been through stuff. We truly look forward to working with you, speaking with you, helping advance you in any way that we can.